Hello everyone. So this is our 7th lecture in the series of tutorials of SolidWorks. So today we discuss about the new command in the 3D module of the software, which is known as Extrude Cut. As you can see on the screen, this is the command which I want to explain today. That is called Extrude Cut. Previously we done the command Extruded Boss Base, which provides the 3D which is used to convert the 2D element into 3D element. Okay, so for that purpose we use Extrude Boss Base. So it is used to provide certain depth, or you can say providing certain material to the component. But the opposite part of the extrude, or you can say counterpart of the Extrude Boss Base, is basically your Extrude Cut command. Okay, so Extrude Cut is just the command used to remove material from the different entities. Now taking an example here, you can see component is drawn here. Now its components has 6 fins, or you can say 6 walls, which are equally distance spaced here, and there is a circle. This is the element by which I can cut all these walls. So this is the circular element. It is a 2D element and the component is a 3D element. Fine. So Extrude Cut is used to create a hole in these 3 walls as well as in these 3 walls. Fine. So let us start with it. Now first of all, I just select this component. This is the element by which I want to cut the walls in both the direction. So I just click on Extrude Cut. So it is very similar to the Extruded Boss Base, but the difference between both these commands is that in Extrude Boss you providing certain depth or material to the component, whereas in case of Extruded Cut you are removing material from the component. Basically you are creating some holes in the component. So it is also similar. All the parameters, all the characteristics are similar to the Extrude Boss Base, but the end result is that you cut some material from the component. So same features, we have direction 1 here, direction 2 here. Okay, so direction 1 is in which direction you want to cut the component. So if this is the direction 1, then direction 2 will be the opposite direction. Fine. And if it is used end condition as a blind, then you have to give the exact value up to which you want the extrusion cut. Okay, so if it is 100 by default, you can change it to 200 also, no issues. As you can see, our extruded element or cutting element is moving between these 3 walls and cut all these 3 walls with this cylindrical shape. Okay, so you can change the value in case of blind end condition, and the another end condition is through all. Okay, so through all means that all these 3 walls are cut by this cutting element. When I select through all here, see all the 3 bars are cut by this cylindrical element. When I click OK here, see what happens. It creates a hole. See, it creates a hole. So Extruded Cut is used to remove the material, and Extruded Boss is used to provide depth or material to the component. So this is the basic difference, and all the other parameters and conditions characteristics are similar to the Extruded Boss. So this is how you can cut hole in the 3 walls simultaneously by clicking or by applying the Extruded Cut command. So let me again select this Extruded Cut, right click on this Extrude Cut, go to edit feature. So we discuss about the blind. Blind is the end condition in which you give the required dimension up to which you want extrusion cut. Okay, through all means all the elements which are in the path of this Extruded Cut element are cut, and a hole is produced between all these 3 walls. Fine. Then next is up to next. Up to next means the we can say that the adjacent wall which is very close to this element. Okay, so this is the cutting element, we have this is the cutting element, this is the circular cutting element, and this is the next wall up to which the cutting is done. So up to next means the wall which is very close or which is very adjacent to the cutting element. So this type of end condition is used when you have a very complex shapes and very less space between various components. So you can use the cutting if you need to cut some material from it. So you can use extrude cut up to next with the help of up to next end condition. So when I click OK here, you can see the cutting is done only in the first wall in the right hand side direction. You can see that, and remaining two walls are intact. There is no cutting in the wall, so only up to next condition is fulfilled. So this hole is created with the help of that condition. Now again I right click, edit features, then next parameter we have up to vertex. So you have to select the vertex. Let us say I select this vertex. Up to this point the cutting is done, and if I select this vertex, up to this point the cutting is done. If I select this vertex, up to this point the cutting is done. So I just click OK. You can see both walls are cut by a cylindrical element here, okay, and the hole is produced because I select this edge point here, this point. Fine, this point is used as a reference to cut all these elements. So these up to this point the cutting is done. If I select this point, then cutting will be done up to this wall. Fine. So this is how you can use the end condition up to vertex. Then go to again right click on extrude cut, then edit features, then next end condition is up to surface. So you have to select the surface up to which you want to cut the element. So if I select this surface, you can see the selected surface remains as pink and the cylinder is cutting up to this point. If you select this surface, if you select this surface, up to this surface the cutting is done. And if you click OK, you can see three holes are created between the three walls because I select this surface. Up to this surface the cutting should be done, and the software will cut accordingly. Fine. Then again right click on extruded, cut extrude, and then go to edit features, and the next end condition is mid plane. When I select mid plane, see what happens. As you know, the default dimension I given in the earlier command is 200 millimeters. So by default it select that value, so it should be 200. That means 100 in left hand side and 100 in right hand side. So total length is 200. So in case of mid plane, only direction 1 is visible, no direction 2 is visible. It is very similar to the extruded box. In the previous lecture we discussed about how the direction 1 and direction 2 can be used. So if you want to know more about this, you can watch my previous lecture on this series of SolidWorks tutorial. You can make things clear in that lecture also. Fine. So in case of mid plane, only direction 1 is visible and direction 2 is not visible. So this much amount of depth you want to cut, that means 100 in left, 100 in right. So by mid plane means the cutting element becomes a mid plane, and from the left it is 100 and towards the right it is 100. Total distance is 200. And then when I click OK here, you can see the walls which are in the range of that cutting element are cut by cylindrical hole, and the walls which are not touching that element, it remains intact. See, this happens when you use mid plane option or mid plane in condition of the cut extrude command. Okay, fine. And then right click, edit feature. Now you can change the distance in also mid plane. Let us say it should be 400, or you can say it should be any value. If you put 400, see what happens. 200 in the right hand direction, 200 in the left hand side direction, and all the three walls in the left and right are cut by this element. If you click OK here, you can see hole is created between these elements. See, so your element is cutting all the way through all the elements in the right as well as in the left hand side of the component. Fine. Now again right click here, edit feature, and when I select blind here, see what happens. My direction 2 is also open. Let us say it should be 200 only, and direction 2 is also open. Now if you want that, it's up to you as per your requirement. Fine. If you want that hole is created between these three walls again in the right hand section, and you want hole created only up to this wall, and remaining two walls in the left side direction are intact, then what you can choose direction 2, and you can choose the end condition up to surface. Okay, you can choose up to vertex also. So select the surface up to which you want to create a hole, and remaining two walls in the left hand side direction are intact, and only first wall is used to create only first wall is used to create a hole with the help of this cutting elements. Fine. So you can choose direction 2, and you can choose up to surface as well as up to vertex. You can choose any of these two end conditions to create a hole in the first wall. So when I choose up to surface, I select the surface, and you can see the selected surface is violet in color. And when I click OK here, you can see in the right hand side direction all the three walls are cutted and a hole is created. But in case of left hand side direction, you can see a hole is created in the first wall only, and the remaining two walls are intact and there is no cutting done in these two walls. Fine. So this is how you can cut the elements as per your requirements, as per your standards. Fine. So this is the cut extrude command. I think it is very useful and understandable. If you want to see, I can also create a hole in these two walls again. So just go to right click and cut extrude, go to edit features, and in direction 2 you can choose through all also. When you choose through all, what happens? All the three walls are cut by this element and producing a hole in these three walls. When I click OK here, see what happens. All the three walls are cut by this cylindrical element, and these walls are already cut in the right hand side direction and left hand side direction. So it's a flexible thing. It's up to you at what distance you want to cut the element. Okay, so this is how you can use the extrude cut command here. So I think it is clear to you how to use the extrude cut command. For the extrude boss base command and other commands in the SolidWorks, you can see my previous tutorials in this series. And so guys, thanks for watching and thanks for your support.